Yes, yes. Welcome in. Welcome in. It's another Tuesday. Whoa. Look at that. I have the green screen going and my hat has green under here. It just it goes with the background. So if you see this up here looking crazy today, it's because I got green. I'll have to remember that next time. But yeah, that's the that's the effects of green screen. But anyways, how are we doing today? It is Tuesday. So that means another episode of Touchdown Detroit Lions over here on Syndicate Sports Detroit. Yes, how are we feeling today? I'll let people get in here a little bit, but we are live. If you can see me, if you can hear me, if you are in here just because of some of the issues we've had the last few weeks, give me a thumbs up, say what's up, just so we can get this thing rolling. And I know that everything's working well right now. This last few weeks had a few technical difficulties. People said I wasn't there when I thought that I was, but I think that we're all good here. Just need a little bit of confirmation from anybody who's in there, if there's anybody. Otherwise, I'll just get this thing rolling. But yeah, good to see everybody. Another week of Lions football. Yes. 16 days till KC. Andre said it. I can't wait. We are almost there. It's basically here. It's basically here. And I cannot contain my excitement. You can see right now. I'm going crazy over here. But what's up? What's up, Mac? Best to you as well. Lady Lion 20, how's it going? Yes. Sound is good and clear. Cool. Good to hear. All right. We'll get this thing rolling then. We got some people in here. But yeah, just like Andre pointed out, 16 weeks until the season opener against Kansas City in Kansas City. They are the defending champs. But we're coming to show that we got what it takes to compete, contend for that championship, hopefully get one under our belt here this year, but sooner than later. You know, I think it's crazy to think that we're actually in contention talk, or we're a top team here in the NFC that a lot of people are talking about going into the season. And it's not March anymore. It's not a bunch of hype just for ratings from all these analysts. People are actually picking the Lions now to win the North and make some noise in the playoffs. We haven't even played a regular season game yet, but yeah, We're getting a lot more love now, and that's good to see. That is good to see. Patrick, what's up? Feeling old. Have you heard about any trade rumors? I have. I've heard about a few trade rumors, and I was going to get to this at the end. But Patrick, since you asked about it, we might as well start with it. I like to please the viewers. If you have any more questions, let me know, and I will try and get there. But, yeah, there has been a trade rumor circling around with the Lions. Nothing too crazy. You know, it's not like a huge trade or anything, and it's not going around the media like crazy either. But there is a small rumor that the Giants are very interested in acquiring Julian Okwara. And why wouldn't they be? Because he got 3 sacks against them when we played them in the preseason. I'm sure that he showed out in that joint practice against them. But Giants are showing interest in Julian Okwara. And I think, you know what? Let's hear what they got to offer. I'm all ears on this. Nothing against Julian. I would hate to break up the Okwara brothers. But we have a lot of depth at that position already. You know, Hutch, Charles Harris, Houston, Pascal can play that position. The linebackers get out there and do it. I know I miss Romeo Okwara's brother, of course. But, yeah, so I'm all ears on this one. If the Giants are interested in Julian, you know, he is a young talent. He did show out in that preseason game. But I think that we're stacked there, and I don't see him getting a ton of time with us just because of our personnel already. But, yeah, so that's something interesting there. And I would take offers, and you know, Brad Holmes has been doing well in drafts as of late. We'll see exactly how good he's done with this draft class once we get out there playing. more, but it seems like he hit again on this class so far, and I'll take any draft pick for Okora. A deep one like a seventh or eighth, that might be asking a little, not enough, but third definitely, fourth, fifth, sixth, let's go. Once again, I do love the Okora brothers on the team together, but if we can get something out of it, since we already had depth at that position, it saves you maybe the talk of having to cut him and split his brother up, or having to cut his brother, because I hear that Romeo's on the bubble as well. So, yeah, I'm all ears on that trade if they really want to go through with it. But all right, let's get into some more things. Let some more people join in since we just started here. But I'm glad the questions are already rolling. Keep them rolling if you got some going on. But yeah, Julian Okora got seen by the Giants for that because we've had joint practices. And this year, I'm really happy that we did 2 of them, because I think it really works out for this team, and any team. I think it's great to get reps against other teams, especially seeing your first teamers out there against other first teamers and not have to go into a preseason type scenario, like a game scenario where you're risking your quarterback getting hurt, because at these joint practices, they're able to go full bore, but your quarterback's still wearing that red shirt, so he's not getting banged around too much. So you save that risk right there. But yeah, they also get to practice against each other, kind of see more of what we got going against other teams earlier than other teams. And we did 2 joint practices, so I think that really is going to benefit us a lot this year. Of course, we don't have a joint practice this week, but, we still have a preseason game. With no joint practices, I want to know what you guys think. Do you think we should start the starters? Do you think they should play? How long do you think they should play? Because according to Dan Campbell, it's going to look a lot like the last 2 weeks is what he said in his presser today. So, don't expect there to be a ton of starters, if any at all, out there playing. He said he's going to make his decision today, but it's expected to be a lot like the last few weeks. I was kind of hoping they would get the starters out there for at least a series or 2, then pull them. But I think it's good for them to dress, get out there in a real-life game scenario, get a few snaps, get the jitters out the week before Kansas City. Or not the week, but, before Kansas City, so they at least got some kind of on the field, in game. I know they're doing the joint practice, but game-like scenario. Get them that kind of feel, get them that kind of look, and then yank them real quick. But it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. I don't know anything. I just want to see the starters play for a couple series. That's just me, though. But if they're going to stay healthy, if we're going to all be 100% going into the season, then I am good with that as well. Before we get going too far, we got to shout out the man, one of our rookies. It's his birthday today. Captain Jack Campbell. Happy birthday, brother. Love the work that you've been doing so far for this team. But yeah, let's head over to the questions here real quick before I get into anything else. Mac has a question right here. D777 Mac. Do the head coaches ever talk before a scrimmage to determine what is each head coach plans for the scrimmage? Yeah, I think they definitely get together and discuss a lot of what's about to go down. I'm sure they all get in a room. Dan's and, Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson, they're all kind of like, well, we need to see this out of this guy. We want to see this look from this defensive package against this offensive package. You know what I mean? I'm sure that they do that. Now, I'm also sure that in the scrimmage, there's a lot of ad-libbing going on as well. And the quarterback's probably out there, audibling, making some calls. So, but I do think that there is somewhat of a plan going in, especially during the season, if they're going to do a scrimmage during the week. But there is some kind of set plan there. I think at least to get some looks, to work in some guys, to see what they got. But then for the rest of the time, it's pretty much let's just ad lib. Let's see what we would do in this situation, and just play it like a real game. But I do think there is a plan there, a little bit. Let's see here. No to Diggs. Not sure what we're talking about there, John. Are we talking about trading for Diggs? I don't know. But yeah, I'll answer that question more if we elaborate on it. All right, for only one quarter, start the starters. Yeah, I would like to do that too, Mac. I would even say just a few reps. A few series. Don't even need to do a full quarter. Just get their feet wet and then get them out of the game. Then go into Kansas City the next week and dominate. Let's go. All right. Patrick says, what do you think QB possessions? All right. QB positions. Poisons. All right. I don't know what that is. Sorry. 1, Goff. 2, Bridgewater. 3, Martinez. Emergency quarterback. Yeah, that's how I like it. And I think that a lot of our fans like it. Sudfeld, once again, just did not look good at all in this last preseason game. And Teddy B didn't really either, but before we panic there, I'll get right into it in the Teddy B performance in this last preseason game. He was kind of thrown in there. I really didn't expect him to start. And, we got to kind of calm down here. We can't freak out yet. He's only been there for like a week. Now a week and a half maybe. So he's still getting accustomed to the system. And, it's not going to take him that long, but we got to remember, too, he was out there with second and third string linemen who need a lot of work. And that's another subject right there. This preseason game showed that our line doesn't have a lot of depth. Well, and that's pretty much across the board with the NFL. But if there's a guard out there that we can go and grab right now, that would be great. I would gladly go and grab a guard right now to help this offensive line with depth. Graham Glasgow and Vaitai, they didn't play. One of them is not going to start during the regular season unless somebody gets hurt. So that's good depth right there to have one of those guys as a backup or rotating in, whatever. But, yeah, just to, they'll get better. And I trust that hopefully, knock on wood, that we're not going to have to start the full second string offensive line or the third offensive line. And that our guys hopefully stay healthy for the most of the year because our offensive line, when fully healthy, the first stringers, we got a top 5 offensive line right there. But, yeah, it was a little scary situation. So, Teddy B still, like you said up there, Patrick, I got him number 2 quarterback. And I would like to see Martinez there. I think, like I've said this before, he provides a little bit more of a spark. He's just a lot better. I feel like Sudfeld might be a vet and know the system, but he just throws picks, and he's just not good. He's just not good. All right. Whew. Here we go. I'm going to get more into the comments. All righty. Grit, it's okay. Good to see you in here, Grit. Your YouTube notifications have been going off late. That's okay. It's good to see you in here. If there's something that I didn't cover that you want to, or, maybe that I did cover, and you have that question, I will still answer it because you're loyal and I see you in here all the time. All right, Mac, I see you agree with me. Good, that's what's up. What's up, who's your Gotti? Sudfeld got to go, period. I'm with you. He's got to get out of here. I was upset to see Martinez not get any playing time, really, at all. And I think that he definitely deserves a shot this game. And if he does better than Sudfeld, he's got to get the job over Sudfeld. I don't know what they see in keeping this guy around, keep giving him shots and more time. Maybe they're trying to do that so he keeps failing, and they have this tape, and they're like, hey, look it, bud. You threw way too many interceptions in the preseason. You couldn't hit open guys. It just wasn't working out. We're letting you go. So maybe that's the plan. Maybe they're giving him every opportunity to succeed, and he keeps failing, and that's the plan. Maybe that's what they want to do. I don't know, but I agree. Sudfeld's got to go. Oh, John Peterson. Diggs wants out of Buffalo. Yeah, we're talking about the wide receiver. I thought we were talking about the old school safety for us, Quandre. But no to Diggs? Wow. Maybe he's got a little bit of, drama around him. But the guy's talent is way up there. Now, if he comes over, that means somebody doesn't get a spot on our roster. And I think we got a good wide receiving room. I think a lot of the guys who have been there, trying to make the roster are really stepping up, showing that they got some skills. And we already got Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think Josh Reynolds is going to have a good year. I think Marvin Jones is going to make a difference on this team, definitely. Khalif Raymond's been balling out in training camp. And, of course, the guy we're missing for 6 games to start, Jameson Williams, when he comes back, he's gonna be a difference out there because people are going to be scared of him burning everybody. So it's just going to be – J-Mo's going to be great, don't get me wrong. But he's going to be somebody to worry about all the time. Amon-Ra is going to be somebody to worry about all the time. It's going to open up other passing options, and we can't forget about our tight ends. Sam Laporta, a rookie, should have a good year. I expect Brock Wright to do well. And James Mitchell, he's shown in the preseason so far that he can make some moves after the catch and get upfield. So, I would not be mad at all if Diggs came over from Buffalo to the Lions because he would upgrade that wide receiver room like crazy. But I do think he brings some drama with him. And I like our team already. So I'm fine without having him. All right. Yeah, our O-line was complete trash in the Jags game, says Who's You Gotti. I agree. These are probably comments coming from what I was saying earlier. Too much time invested in Sudfeld. You are correct, Robert. He's got to go. What's up, Mary Peterson and AP? How you guys doing? Love you guys. All right, Grit. Nobody could have played that well behind that O-line performance. Yeah, it was terrible. It was just completely, I was... I couldn't wait. I was excited for the game to happen, and then I saw that first series, and I was like, oh, God, it's going to be one of these games. All right, maybe I don't want to watch. I watched the whole game, though. But, yeah, I felt bad for Teddy. I felt bad for Sudfeld. I felt bad for the running backs. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. All right. My vote for number 1 drive to 1 quarter for starters. Yeah, 1 drive to 1 quarter for starters for Dave. Yeah, I would like that, too. It just doesn't sound promising for any starters getting any playing time from what Dan Campbell said today. He just said it's going to look a lot like the last few weeks. And I'll talk about this too. I was going to talk about it later. But apparently they did have a full, live, fully padded scrimmage today, tackling all the good stuff, just like a real game. And so they're out there doing work. And that's the good thing about these joint practices that we've had the last few weeks. You don't need to put the starters out there in the preseason game because we're already seeing what they can do against first teamers during the week in practice while we're having the scrimmage against the other teams. Now, today we had to scrimmage against ourselves. I didn't hear a lot of it, but this is what I did hear. I hear that Brian Branch, look at this is from Jeremy Reisman. He says Brian Branch is already in consideration for best defensive player on this roster. That's saying a lot, especially for the personnel that we have on the roster now on defense. You got Hutch, you got CJ Gardner-Johnson. So, we got some other playmakers, but to say that Brian Branch is a rookie is arguably the best defensive player on that roster, that's saying a lot. And no matter what, if it's a reach, it's great. It's showing that he's going out there, he's balling out, he's doing what he's got to do. We saw that hit against the Giants. Brad said that's been happening all summer. Apparently it's continuing to happen right now. And I think that the ceiling, there is no ceiling for this guy. I think he's going to be all pro. We got another steal. And I love it. I'm glad that he dropped to us at the second. It brings even more of a nasty edge to him. I've talked about this a few weeks in a row. But I just love this guy on our team. I think he's going to turn out to be one of the more generational players at his position. And I think that we have other young guys in there at core positions on this defense who are going to be that way as well. And I'm talking about Hutch, who had a great rookie season on the line. He's going to be holding it down. Then you got Jack Campbell at linebacker, who has already shown that this guy is just making strides every single time he puts on the pads. That's what Dan Campbell said. He said every single time Jack Campbell goes out there with the pads on, he just improves and gets better and better and tremendously better. And you can tell, man, he said it before in pressers that he doesn't like to make the same mistake twice. And even if he does, he's going to do his damnedest that it doesn't happen. You know, like he's going to try his hardest to not make that happen. The guy is a workhorse. The guy is the real deal. And I truly think this of Jack Campbell as well. I know we were just talking about Brian Branch, but I'm talking about these 3 generational stars who we might have on our team. Possibly, okay? I'm not saying they're generational yet, but, you know, Jack Campbell, he this year, I was saying next year he would take that green dot and that he would become the leader of this defense as far as the middle goes. But I truly do see the way that he's been progressing and the nastiness that he brings to this game, midway to 3/4 of the way through the season, I would not be shocked because of his work ethic, because of how good of a ball player he is, if Jack Campbell took over that green dot and was the captain of that defense in the middle there. Just you know, hot take there, maybe a reach, but the guy's got it. The guy's got it. And then, of course, back to talking about Brian Branch at the DB position. Seems like he's limitless out there. He can play safety. He can play corner. He can play nickel. Looks like he's going to start at nickel. And, you know, I just love what this guy brings to the table. Goes out there, lays the big hit, but he can pick it. He can run it back. He can sack. He can line up on the line. I mean, it's going to be a great thing. We're going to see. You're going to see. I'm going to see. Hopefully, what he's been doing all summer long translates in the regular season, and I hope that he shuts down Mahomes. I forget who it was last week. I think it was Grit said that Brian Branch is Mahomes' kryptonite, or a running quarterback's kryptonite, and I truly believe that as well. All right. Here we go. Whoo, great. I don't know what you said. No, it's not. Hate that for that, but we can talk about that if you want to elaborate. All right, what's up, Kim? I know you're down there in St. John. That's my mother, so thank you for tuning in. On the island, tuning in to the Lions podcast. Love it. Okay, Patrick, I agree. Our wide receiver room is set as far as I'm concerned. We were talking about Diggs in there. Yeah, I think that, you know, our wide receiver room gets overlooked. I think that we do have some skill there, and let's get into this. Let's talk about some guys who are on the bubble, but who have impressed in this last preseason game and prior to that as well. But one guy in the wide receiver room who showed out against the Giants, had 60 yards receiving, and then got our lone touchdown in the last game and has been impressing at camp all summer as well. I'm talking about Chase Cota. You know, this guy has really come out of nowhere, and I love it. You know, Tom Kennedy got hurt, so that was bad news there. But this guy could be the new Tom Kennedy. He shows sure hands. He can return punts pretty well. He had a nice return there in the last game. But I think with his performance and the way that in his performance in the last few games and also what he's been doing at practice, I see Chase Cota making this team. Now, it's going to be a battle still. But we got to remember that Jameson Williams suspended for the first 6 games. He doesn't take up a roster spot during a suspension on that 53-man roster. They don't have to put in a designated spot for Jameson Williams because he's suspended. It's not like the IR. So that's good news right there. We can use that for somebody else like a Chase Cota. But, you know, and Denzel Mims unfortunately went out and we waived him due to injury. You know, sad news for that guy. I really thought he was going to make the 53-man roster. But he's done because of injury. But, yeah, you know, Chase Cota, I haven't seen him drop hardly anything, if anything at all, in the games that he played. And with J-Mo being out, you know, typically NFL teams take around 7 receivers on the 53-man roster. And if we were going to take 7, this is who I have right now, and forgive me if I forget somebody, but this is who I have minus Jameson Williams for the first 6 games at receiver. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Josh Reynolds, Marvin Jones Jr., Khalif Raymond, Antoine Green, the rookie. I have Dylan Drummond and Chase Cota making the roster. Now, you could make an argument for Maurice Alexander there, especially after his explosive return that he had in the first game, but maybe they just keep him as a return guy anyways and keep 8 wide receivers on the roster. I have no idea what their plan is, but regardless, it's going to be a battle there. That those last 3 that I just mentioned, it's going to be a battle between Drummond, Cota, Maurice Alexander. Trinity Benson might make a case for himself. It's going to be a fight there. But I do see Chase Cota making his way onto the roster, especially for the way that he's been playing as of late. Now, one more guy I want to talk about before I get back into the comments. Who shined in this preseason game, who's on the bubble, but I think has a good chance of making the roster, especially after the last game. I'm talking about Steven, not Stefan, but Steven Gilmore, the younger brother of the all-pro cornerback, Stephen Gilmore. He's out of Marshall. He's another undrafted free agent cornerback that we may have hit on. I thought that he played great in this preseason game against the Jags. The first pass that he had on him, he did, get beat. It was a deep pass for a lot of yards. But I don't think, when you watch the tape, I don't think you could have played that any better. Like, it missed his arm by centimeters. His arm was in there. I don't know how the receiver caught it. It was a great catch, but it was also very good coverage by Steven Gilmore to make that. He didn't make the play, but that coverage was right there. He was stride for stride with him. Great play, great throw by the quarterback, great catch by the wide receiver. But then he comes back after getting beat, and he saves a touchdown on a 50-50 ball in the end zone, swats it away. Good on him. And, of course, last but not least that I'm going to talk about, he gets the gift from Tracy Walker of an interception. Tracy Walker should have intercepted it, kind of bobbled it around, tipped it right to Steven Gilmore, and he intercepts it. Makes a little return. No matter what, great awareness to be right there. But I think this kid had a great game. He made other plays, just the ones that I just said. But, he's undrafted, out there fighting for his position and playing well, and I hope that he makes this roster. What better guy to learn from than your older brother, all-pro Stephon Gilmore? I know that they're talking. I know that they're training in the offseason together. He's giving them all the pointers to succeed in the NFL, so I think it would be a good move to hang on to the younger brother of Stephon Gilmore, Steven Gilmore, especially because he had a good performance in this last game. I hope they give him another shot next game. I hope he shows up. I hope he makes the roster. I don't know how many cornerbacks they plan on keeping, but, I hope that he makes it. And if it came down between him and Chase Lucas, I'd take Steven Gilmore. I'm not going to get into too many others. We need depth at corner. I know that we got some good guys. We picked up some guys like Cam Sutton, but Emmanuel Mosley, who we picked up, isn't back yet. Jerry Jacobs, great over there. We need some help after that, and I think we got a few undrafted free agent cornerbacks this year that will show out, but Steven Gilmore in particular, great job last game. Hope you make the roster, bud. All right, I'm going to go over here to the comments one more time. Cheers, everybody. Thank you for joining once again. I'm here every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. West Coast. Cheers. What up, Fresh and Fly? Good to see you in here. Yes, I think we should go grab Corey Davis for wide receiver depth. Sorry. Corey Davis would not be a bad pickup. He's a sure-handed guy, proven himself in the league. Good vet, could bring some more knowledge to that room. Not a bad option there. Not a bad option there. David Barnett, is it better to cover slot receiver with safety or fast corner? It's better to cover the slot receiver with Brian Branch, if you got it. That's where I would go. You need kind of a hybrid there, they like to put the nickel corners on them, and I think that we're going to be set if you're asking about who we're going to put there. You got two guys who can play that position very well, and that's in Brian Branch, who has not played a full NFL season yet, but he's getting a lot of noise, and you got C.J. Gardner-Johnson as well. So if it's needed, we can put GJ there, bring Tracy Walker back out, which I think they're going to do. They're going to be working a bunch of different packages. But I would say get a hybrid in there, somebody like that. You know, they just got to be able. It's a whole different position than playing that outside cornerback because you have to defend going a whole. It's just way different. So that's a loaded question. I didn't really answer it the right way, I don't think, but I would say Brian Branch is the answer to cover that. All right. Brand new hello from Cooper Harbor, sorry. Way up in the Yoop. What up, brand new? Yeah, sorry. I didn't read that the right way the first time. Hello from Copper Harbor. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, brand new. All right. Grit. The 4-letter word comment was about the YouTube notifications. We always do that every week. Something that I don't know because I'm over here talking about what I do and I look in the comments later. I should be looking at it at the same time. My bad. All right. Patrick says Coda should make the team. I agree. I hope that he does. He's been doing well. I think he deserves a shot. I think, he's got chemistry with the backups, but he could go out there. He's a nice target. He catches the ball. He's been doing well. Grit, is Kabinda your roster casualty to keep them all? We're talking about the wide receivers here. Grit, I would say we could do that. I think that they like Jason Kabinda. He goes up there. He lays some big-time blocks, helps out the running game. He's made a few nice catches this preseason, but he also has dropped some very easy ones, one that could have been a touchdown, I remember in the first game. I would hate to let Kabinda go, so honestly, I would probably rather cut one of those wide receivers. Hope that they stay on the practice squad. Nobody else picks them up. That's just where I go with that. I think Kabinda is a good part of the offense. Not only physically, it's good for morale. And I love that meme of him just staring down the camera, or Dan Campbell when he's getting hyped on Hard Knocks there. I don't know if you've seen that, but yeah, that would be probably where they go, though, if they are going to get rid of somebody for an extra receiver or any extra player there on offense. I would hate to see it, but you make a good point there. I think that's where they go. Robert, Drummond needs a big week, or he could be a practice squad guy. Yeah, definitely, Robert. That's what I'm saying. It's going to come down to this last week, and that's why I think they don't start, hardly any of the starters, if any of them at all, because they have a lot of position battles that they need played out in this last game of preseason to see who they're going to go with. They have to cut down the entire roster in 1 week. It's not like previous years where they're, making cuts each week and then they finally get it down to the 53-man at the end. No, they got all these guys. They got to make that cut after this week, and they have a lot of big decisions to make, especially at that wide receiver position, and it's going to be tough. Yeah, Drummond definitely needs to have a big week. He did not do that well last week. He had a few balls thrown to him that he thought he should have come down with, and he didn't. He did well in camp leading up to that, and I think he did okay against the Giants. Excuse me, but I think that Coda's been doing better. Maurice Alexander has that touchdown return. So they might have the slight edge there. Not sure about Trinity Benson or anybody else competing for that position. I think Drummond is beating them out right now, but he is definitely going to have a big week to make this roster. I agree there, Robert. David, who should shadow Kelsey? I've wrote Branch. Yeah, I'm with you on that one all day. I know I answered your last question with Brian Branch. I'm going to answer it again with Brian Branch. If there's a question about the defense, let's just start answering it with Brian Branch, because seems like that guy's got all the answers. He's the AI and I'm not talking about artificial intelligence. I'm talking about Allen Iverson. He's the answer of the NFL, okay? I'm not going to put that out there and call him that because Allen Iverson's already the answer. But but yeah, we got this right here. We got a guy like that NFL wise. So just so versatile. And I definitely vote Branch shadowing Kelsey. You can also, I think, CJ Gardner Johnson. They're probably going to switch that up a little bit. We'll see what works. Kirby Joseph could be there too. Kelsey's their biggest threat at receiver. They do have some other guys who can play the position, but Kelsey is their number one receiver as a tight end. And we definitely need to put one of our top guys on him. I wouldn't mind shadowing him with two guys in certain positions when it's like that. But, don't spend too much time on him. But, yeah, I think we're going to be good there with Branch, CJ Gardner Johnson. And I think we're going to shock the world, like I said this. We're going to talk about the KC game again one more time right now. I'm predicting a win. I am. I'm calling it. I called it last week. And I want to know how you guys feel. Do you feel like we come away with a win after week 1 in Kansas City? It's a tough test. Former champs. I do think that our offense has the firepower to hang with them. It's going to come down to the defense. And I think Grit pointed this out last. No way I talk. Yeah, that was my bad. I know that's another team. My bad. But we pointed out that Branch is the kryptonite to Patrick Mahomes, hopefully. But yeah, my bad about the AI talk, okay? I know he's not a Piston, or he wasn't, but but come on. I mean, the guy had a great career, and yeah. I'll just leave it at that. Here we go. Yes. Super Donkey Kong says, here we go, Super Bowl. That's what we said last week, right? I hope so. I don't know if you saw this, and I don't know if he's making a prediction with changing up his X handle name. And he's had it for, longer than what I'm talking about here. But Kirby Joseph, X handle name, is now Super Bowl Kobe. Like Zuper, Bull, Kirby. And then it's got some Z's, he's sleeping and putting him to sleep. So maybe the Zuper has to do with that. But I also think it has a little reference that he thinks that they're going to make it to the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl, that we got the team to do that this year. And I think that we do. I think there's no better time to go after it, especially now. We got a good roster. If we can really build off of the way that we finished last year, come out strong, make the playoffs, why can't it be our year, We were one of the better teams in the whole NFL, according to a lot of analysts. This isn't just me. This is a ton of ESPN experts, a ton of NFL, experts, former NFL players, guys that you see every single day. And they said that the Lions were a top 5 team in the NFL at the end of the season. They just happened to miss the playoffs. So if we can get to that caliber again, I think that we can definitely make a run. And who knows? This could be our year. But you got to do it while the iron's hot. So go out there and get it. Yes. All right. Yeah, my bad about the AI talk one more time again. I haven't seen any comments come in since. So, all right. Let's get more into some more positive news coming from the preseason game. Kaminsky played well once again. You love to see that. He's going to be a force to reckon with during the regular season. Love to have him back out there. And I'm interested to see the rotation on that defensive line when things really get going because, Aleem McNeil, Bugs, Kaminsky, Hutch, Charles Harris, Romeo Okora, Houston. We got a Pascal. We got a lot of guys we can rotate in there. Broderick Martin, the rookie. It's going to be fun to watch. Can't forget about Levi either. He's been doing well. I think, he needs some more reps in the preseason just because he's missed so much time since he's been there. But I like Levi. I like what he's done so far this year, and I think that he's really going to help out that defensive line, especially with depth and keeping guys, their stamina up and keeping them healthy. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do there on the defensive line, and I love it. It's so crazy to come from where we were last year as being one of the worst defenses in the league, at least in the beginning of the season, to coming into this season and having a lot of optimism behind it, being like, this defense is looking pretty good. And the first teamers haven't been out there yet. You see what some of your rookies are looking like. Branch, Campbell, they're showing out already. And then you see Comiskey doing work, Levi looking good, Houston making some plays out there. And you got your backup DBs making plays like Gilmore. Yeah, I know he's not going to start, but he would have maybe last year or the year before, definitely. And it's just great to see, to make that flip from going to being considered one of the worst defenses in the league the year before, to possibly, just flipping that script and going out there and being one of the nastiest out here in the league. And especially, I think CJ Gardner-Johnson coming here makes a huge difference on that. Cam Sutton looks good, but CJ brings that attitude, He brings his whole swagger with him. From what I hear, he can't shut up. And he said the only time that he's not trash talking is when he's sleeping. And I forget the other one that he said. But, I just think that the defense this year has a lot more promise, like way more, like 90% more. It's 90% better than they were last year. But just like Grit said right here in the comments, health is the key to a successful season. And he's talking about the O-line too, especially on the O-line. Yeah, because our O-line was trash in this game. But health is the key to everything. And the good thing about the defense that I was just talking about is it seems like we do have some depth there. Tracy Walker doesn't look like he's going to be a starter this year. And he's a captain out there for us. But that's a good thing because he's going to get his playing time. And, he's going to make a difference. We got, so it's good to have depth. Injuries are going to happen. That is the NFL. Hopefully we can contain them to a lower amount this year, and we won't have to worry about it as much. But you got to expect it. Depth is key. Hopefully the offensive line more than any other position stays healthy, because when they're top 5, in my opinion, top 3. But, yeah, health is wealth when it comes to a successful season. Donkey Kong, Sterling Thomas, and Gilmore could be very nice finds. Yeah, I was blanking earlier. Couldn't think of Sterling Thomas's name when I was talking about 2 undrafted free agents at the cornerback position or the DB position. And yeah, both of them definitely could be nice finds. Brad Holmes is great at this, especially at the D-back position. We got Jerry Jacobs a few years back. Look at how he's turning out to be. He's probably the starter this year at the other corner across from Cam Sutton, because Emmanuel Mosley is still going to be hurt, which is fine because Jerry Jacobs is a great cornerback to me. I mean, he's not the greatest, but he is good. He's good. He holds it down. I love the guy. I love his fight out there. Anybody who makes the team and makes the strides that Jerry Jacobs has coming from an undrafted free agent, deserves a pat on the back. And I think that Sterling Thomas and Steven Gilmore are going to be 2 more guys that make this roster as undrafted free agent DBs. And you love to see it. You love to see it. Sorry for getting loud there, but way to point that out, Donkey Kong. Yes. All right. David, what are the odds of beating Kansas City twice this year? Woo! Well, if we beat them the first game and we happen to meet them in the Super Bowl, we better beat them. And I hope that I don't know the odds, it'd be tough to do, but I think we could do it. I would rather lose the first one and win the second one in the Super Bowl. I'll say that, all day. I think anybody would take that, but I think that we definitely can do it. I don't know if Kansas City is the team that's going to make it to the Super Bowl out of the AFC. I haven't made my prediction yet on that side. But if we got the guys to shut down Kelsey and Mahomes in Branch, CJ Gardner-Johnson, and just the rest of our defense making plays, Hutch is going to be out there causing a lot of havoc. He's going to make a huge stride this year. I keep forgetting to talk about Hutch. I don't need to. We know what Hutch is. We know what he's going to be. We know he's going to be even better. But yeah, I definitely can see us. I think that we could. I do drink the Kool-Aid when it comes to the Detroit Lions. I got the Honolulu Blue in the cup. But, I don't think it's impossible. And I think that if I had to say, I'd be 50-50 each game. I put us up there with that team. I put us up there with that team. And I hope that we go and show the rest of the world just how capable we are. Yeah, Grit says KC not going to the Super Bowl. I think I have to agree with that. And John Peterson, just win the North. That is the first order of business that we need to take care of. I hope none of our guys are really thinking Super Bowl in the locker room. I think they're thinking win the North. And that'll take care of itself, because you win the North, you're in the playoffs. You're in the playoffs, you give yourself a better chance of getting to that Super Bowl. But first order of business is winning the North, something that we have not done in so long, and we need to accomplish that first. So winning the North and a playoff game, to me, is a successful season. I want more. I would probably be very underwhelmed if that happened at the time that it happened, if we lost our second playoff game, if we got that far. I'm getting ahead of myself again. We're talking about winning the North. But I'm saying, to me, that's a successful season, especially coming from what we've done. But I would want more. Anyways, win the North first, and then other things will fall in line on their own. All right. Do we have any more questions today? Because I've pretty much covered a lot of what I was going to cover. I already talked about, I don't know if anybody was here, there is a rumor around Julian Okwara. The Giants have interest in him. They want to bring him over to their team. Makes sense. Got 3 sacks against the guys. But yeah, here we go. I want some more questions if you guys got them. Otherwise, I'm going to get out of here. But I see one coming in here from David Barnett. Can Mosley and Jacobs, Cam Mosley and Jacobs are great, but do their backups in Thomas and Gilly have higher ceilings? Yeah, they do, but as of right now, we got to keep these guys in there. Cam Mosley and Cam and Emmanuel Mosley were both supposed to be the starters when they came over here. Jerry Jacobs was going to fight for it, going to put his chip on his shoulder. He was going to get a lot of playing time. I do love the potential there in Sterling Thomas and in Gilmore. Gilmore especially showed out this last game. I love what Sterling Thomas has been doing in camp all summer long. And we have to keep those guys. You have to develop them. But this is, like you said, they have a higher ceiling. Now look, we got Cam Sutton for 3 years. Emmanuel Mosley is gone after this year. So is C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I really hope we lock down a deal with C.J. Gardner-Johnson. It looks like he's already making a difference. So, keep him, Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch together. That would be just, Cam Sutton, great D-back room right there, along with Thomas and Gilmore. But, yeah, this year I think it's Cam, Mosley, and Jacobs' year. But Gilmore and Thomas are going to learn a lot from these guys, and I think they're the future of this DB room. So good way to point that out. Yeah, definitely. I think they do. Well, I don't know about higher. You're asking if they have higher ceilings. Cam Sutton is a really good cornerback, and I think that everybody's going to see that this year. We gave him the 3-year deal for a reason. He was really good in Pittsburgh, but I think he's going to be even better now. A lot of people were hating on him for getting the contract to come into Detroit to be the number 1 cornerback here, because everybody was saying his ceiling is cornerback too. Well, I think he's out here to prove to everybody that he is that he is a CB1, and that he's got a lot more in the tank than a lot of people think. He's been out there making diving, breaking up plays, diving, knocking the ball away, making interceptions against the other teams in joint practices and against his own team. So I think Cam Sutton, he might possibly end up being much better than Thomas or Gilmore. But as far as ceiling goes, as potential, a lot of people think Mosley and Sutton and Jacobs have already hit their ceiling. So if you want to say higher ceiling, I think Thomas and Gilmore could potentially end up being better. Especially, Gilmore with his older brother there mentoring him. So, yeah, come on. But good question. Grit, win the division and we win a playoff game. Not losing a home playoff game. That's correct. Definitely not losing at home. That ceiling will shatter in Detroit if we play and we win a playoff game at home. You know, it would be amazing. It would be an amazing feeling. I hope to be there if that happens. I'm sure tickets are going to be crazy on demand, though. So if anybody, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Win the North. I'm not going to go any further. All right. Dream of the Super Bowl as a fan, but only this week's game as a player, right? Yeah, definitely. We're here now. You know, as a fan, we've never been, I don't think we've ever had so much promise going into a season in a long, I mean, maybe, but in so many years. It's been such a long time since there's been this much positivity around the Detroit Lions going into a season. I mean, not everybody, but a lot of people on ESPN, NFL Network, putting their names on the Lions, picking us to win the NFC North, some picking us to get to the NFC Championship game. So, you know, as a fan, of course, we're hearing the hype. We're believing it. We're drinking the Kool-Aid already. Some people thought that we were going to win the Super Bowl last year if we could get into the playoffs, and which, you know, isn't a far-fetched idea because of how we were playing at the end of the year. But, yeah, definitely as a fan, you dream for the Super Bowl always. Put that out there in the air and it could happen. But as a player, it's just week to week. You got to get the win each week and let that play out where it goes. You don't focus even ahead of the next opponent. Even if we win this game, we're in the playoffs, you still focus on the next week. You don't skip ahead 3 weeks to the playoffs once you win that. But yes, all right. I'm a ref in Ford Field playoff game and forgot my flag. All right, Grit. Yeah, I mean, that's how I'd like it. At least for the Lions, you know, unless we need some things to happen for us, then throw the flag out there. But I don't want to see another repeat of having a ref screw us over. If we get there, and I'm done with the refs, but I think our team now does a great job of not letting that get to us. Yeah, we've had bad calls against us, but for the most part, it hasn't dictated the game after that like it has in the past. You know, we've let a call that gave up something that we thought should have happened, maybe, you know, a first down that would have sealed the game, or a touchdown, and then the next play we get a field goal or whatever. This team has responded in a much better way than teams in the past. We don't let that one bad call that changes up the game for a moment decide the whole entire game. And that speaks a lot on the coaching. The guys just come back out there, they get to work, and they do what needs to be done. But yeah, you know, I just love this team. I don't know if you guys saw the new Inside the Den. Dan Campbell had another award-winning speech saying that he loves this team and, you know, loves this team now and where they're at, and they're ready to go out there and piss vinegar and all that. But yeah, I mean, you got to love it and where the team is going. But I really don't have much more to say. I'm out here just rambling now. So if there's not any more questions that you have for me this week, that will probably do it for me. We have one more preseason game. I'll be back here next Tuesday to talk about it and other things that happen throughout the week. But after this preseason game, it's time. It's regular season time, baby. Like I said, we are Jared Goff days away. That's right, 16 days away from the regular season kickoff in Kansas City against the defending champs Chiefs, where we go in there and show the world what we're all about. But all right, that's going to do it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed. My name is Nick Harkson over here on Touchdown Detroit Lions on Syndicate Sports Detroit. Hope you all have a great day. Peace.
Touchdown Detroit Lions!